Hi everyone. Welcome to the iSpring webinar series where every week we talk about e-learning trends, share iSpring tips and tricks, and cover clients' cases. I'm Nadia, a community manager at iSpring, and I will be the moderator for today's session. And today we will cover a very interesting topic. We will talk about how to grow your business with the degree assessment. And to do that, I invited a customer service team lead at iSpring, Arina. Hi, Arina. How you doing today?
Hi Nadia, I'm very happy to see you. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine too, and very excited about today's presentation. I'm more than happy to pass the mic over to you, Arina, to start the presentation.
Nadia, thank you so much. Give me just a second. I will launch the screen sharing and also I will turn my camera off. Hi everyone. Once again, my name is Arina. I am a customer service team lead at iSpring and I will be presenting for you today. Today, I'm going to talk about a 360-degree performance appraisal module for iSpring Learn LMS. This module will help you assess an employee's competencies objectively to bring the maximum benefit to your company. Before we start our webinar, I'd like to know who's joining us today. I have a question for you. Do you assess employees in your company in any way? Probably with Google Forms or paper-based surveys. Nadia, can you help to launch a poll, please? Nadia, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Launch a poll, and we already have few answers. So we have two answers for Google Forms and two answers for one-to-one meetings.
I see. That's great. Actually, I'm happy that you already do some kind of assessment in your companies, and I hope that the new tool that I will demonstrate you today will help you to uh, make your before like your employee appraisal the most effective and the most convenient both for you and your employees. Great. So, thank you very much for answering my question. And now let's move on and see what we are going to talk about during this webinar. All right. So, in this webinar, I will show you what a 360-degree feedback assessment is and what we can use it for. Then you will learn who benefits from this functionality, how the performance appraisal module works in iSpring Learn. Then we will have the practical part on how to launch a performance review for sales reps from scratch. And last but not least, how to understand assessment reports for future use in your working practices. So first, let's talk about what a 360-degree feedback assessment is. It is an assessment. It's like a process through which feedback from an employee's subordinates, colleagues, and supervisors, as well as self-evaluation by the employee themselves, is gathered. All evaluations are anonymous, so your employees won't know who evaluated them. What we can use a 360-degree assessment for? First, this module will help you to know how well a person fits their position. iSpring Learn analyzes the evaluations of supervisors, colleagues, and subordinates, as well as their self-analysis, so you can view an employee from different angles and see how well they perform in their job responsibilities. Second, you can create an individual development plan for the employee. iSpring Learn can show an employee's strength, hidden potential, and areas that need development in the form of visual competency reports. You will be able to assess them in real time and decide whether to promote them or change their position. And third, iSpring Learn will anonymously gather feedback on a particular employee, which allows you to identify unperceived conflicts in the team. You will see what colleagues, subordinates, and supervisors really think of the employee, which will help you to avoid interpersonal friction by providing the employee with timely feedback. Now let's talk about on who should use this functionality. 360-degree appraisal will be the most useful for the following positions. First is an HR manager. Second is the head of the department. That's actually my position in my company. And third, an L&D manager or learning and development manager. Generally speaking, if your work includes building working relationship in your workplace, the 360 appraisal is for you. And I want to ask you to raise your hand in chat if you do any of these jobs, or just write something in the chat and let me know what job do you do in your company. And now we are going to look at how the 360 appraisal module works. Today, we will create a sales representative profile. Actually, we're going to see how to create this exact profile during the practical part. That will help us to evaluate our sales managers. To assess the employees, we will need to set up the list of competencies that our manager must have. For example, for a sales rep, they will be product knowledge, client-facing skills, and good personal traits. A specific set of competencies can be combined into groups to organize the competency structure in your iSpring Learn account. Each competency consists of several indicators. For example, product knowledge consists of knowledge of product functionality and ability to emphasize key information. Client-facing skills consist of active listening, empathy, and persuasion, and personal traits consist of sociability, commitment, and stress resistance. Once you set up the profiles, you will be able to create a questionnaire based on them. Here on the screen, you can see an example of the question in the survey that your respondents will get when they will take this 360-degree appraisal. After the review begins, the questionnaire will be sent to selected people who your employee works with. And then after the survey is complete, after everybody has completed the survey, iSpring Learn will analyze the responses and generate a report. Here is what the report looks like. Based on this feedback, you will be able to determine the strengths and weaknesses of the employees and also assess their competence and suitability of their position. So I think I'm done with the theory, and we will proceed to the practical part very soon. And before we do that, I'd like to know if you have any questions. So if you do have questions, please submit them in chat and I will be happy to answer them.
So far, I think that we don't have any questions. And guys, if you everything is completely understandable for you, you're more than welcome to set it in the chat so we can understand that we can move forward.
I see. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, if you have any questions after the webinar, don't hesitate to contact us, and we will be definitely happy to help you. All right, so we are done with the theory part, and now let's practice. I will close my presentation and go to the browser where I have my iSpring Learn account open. I'm going to show you how to set up the evaluation for your employees step by step. So to start, you will need to look at the side menu. Here you will see a new section, which is Performance Appraisal. You will need to click on that to start. The first thing you will need to do here is to decide is how you want to evaluate your employees. To do this, you will need to create a rating scale. So please click on Rating Scales here on the left. Then you will need to click New Scale. The scale will help you to define the level of the particular skill. For example, I will be able to say that a top sales manager Mary is an expert at handling objections, but an intern John is a beginner. So here in the new open window, I'll copy and paste the name of the scale. I already have all the text prepared, so I'm going to just copy and paste them to save our time. And then I'm going to add levels. The first level will be a beginner, and I'm going to set 0 points for that. Then the next level will be an intermediate, and we will have 1 point for this level, and the third level will be expert, and here I'm going to add 2 points. So sorry, I added an extra one, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, so points are needed for the future reports. Based on these points in the report, you will see how well the user is doing, and you will see what level they are. So once you edit the levels, you can click create. And actually, before I do that, I forgot to say that you can add as many levels as you want, but you need to have at least 2 here. All right, so I click create now, and we have a new scale here added. Then we are going to move to competencies. So let's click here in the menu. And we are going to create a competence. A sales representative, for instance, needs to have good communication skills and at the same time have good product knowledge. These are the sales manager's competences, and we need to add them here. As you can see, I already have 2 competencies added. They are client-facing skills and personal traits. And I need to add one more competency, which is product knowledge. So I'm going to click where it says new competency here and add the name. So the name will be product knowledge, as I said, and also I'm going to add the description. Next, I need to add groups. So I don't have any groups here because I don't have too many competencies added yet. So I will just go with no group. Then I need to select my rating scale. So I will use the 3-level proficiency scale. That is the one that we've just created. And here, let's look at the rate together, and I will tell you more about this feature. If you select levels like this, grading scale will be assigned directly to the competency, meaning that a respondent will select out of beginner, intermediate, and expert options only. But if you select indicators like this, you will be able to assess a level of several skills that form one competency. For example, for the competency communication skills, respondents will assess how sales managers conduct personal meetings, how they do phone calls, and how they do email conversations. These 3 indicators will show the level of communication skills competency in general. Today, we're going to look at indicator-based competency assessment. So I will select competency here and click create. Next, I will need to click on add indicator to add them. Here I'm given to fulfill the form for my first indicator, and that is going to be knowledge of product functionality. Here, as you can see, I have levels assigned to this indicator. They come from the scale that we created. If you remember that we added beginner, intermediate, and expert ourselves. So now I just need to add a little explanation so that our employees have a better understanding of what answer they are choosing. All right, so I have added the first indicator and I will click create. Now I'm going to add one more indicator of the competence product knowledge. To do that, I will click on add indicator again and copy and paste my name. This time it will be ability to emphasize key information. And then I'm going to copy and paste the descriptions for the levels. Okay, the second one and the third one here. All right, so I've just added the indicators and I can click create. Perfect, so now we have 3 competencies that we need. Let's go back to competencies and look at them. See, now we have 3 of them just on our scheme, just like on our scheme that I showed you in the beginning. Next step is to create a competency profile. Here you can outline each position's set of competencies by creating a new profile. I will add a new profile for the sales manager. So I will click here where it says new profile and then copy the name. You can add the description if you want to, but this time I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to click Create now. Next, I need to click on Add Competences. And here I will be able to select competences from the list that we created earlier. I want all of the competences to be in the questionnaire for the sales manager. So I just make sure to click on all of the checkboxes and click Add. So now let's look at required level here. Skill level is useful if you want to assess employees of the same position but a different grade. For example, for an intern sales manager, beginner level of client facing skills is okay, but for the pro position, it must be expert. It will help you when you want to promote your employees, as in the report you will immediately see if the actual skill level of the employee is lower or higher than the required one. Perfect. So this time I'm not going to select the required level. I will just go like this. And also in the end, I will show you how the report works if you don't select the required level. Now we can go back to profiles. You will see our profile that we added here. Actually, I want to mention that anything that you add here, you can edit it later. So don't worry if you have any mistakes. You can always click on the profile and click edit. The same for competencies, rating scales, and even performance reviews itself. Now I'm going to create a performance review, and that is going to be last step in preparing our questionnaire. So here you will need to click New Review and enter the name for your review. That is going to be called Sales Team Assessment. And here I'm going to add a description. Here you can also select an assessment manager. So this time I will select myself, but if you want to grant this permission to another user, you will need to make sure that you give them the needed role in the user section here. So I will just go with my account here and click Create. If the review is conducted by your colleague, as I mentioned, don't forget to go to users. Actually, I couldn't click here, so I just want to show you now where the user section is. All right, so now we will need to add detailed instructions for the 360 appraisal. Your users, your employees will see these instructions, so it's very important to explain them how to do the employee appraisal correctly. So please make sure that you add the information about goals, deadlines, also anonymity of responses. So today I will go with default instructions that are already added here. I think they are good enough. So then we will need to select a competency profile here at the bottom. Just scroll the page down. I'm going to select sales manager profile that we just created, and you will see the preview of the competencies here. Then here at the bottom, you have an option to add open-ended questions. And when you add these questions, your employees will have to type in the answer. So I'm going to add a question here. So my question will be about the areas of opportunity for improvement of the employees. I will go with optional, so because I don't want my users to necessarily write something here, and also I will make the question available to everyone. So now let's scroll back to the top of the page, and now it's time to see our questionnaire and check if it looks good. So just click on preview, and here you will see your questionnaire. That is exactly how your employees will see it when they will be answering the questions about their colleagues. So as you can see, we have a competency client facing skills, and here we need to assess active listening, empathy, and persuasion. Also, I want to mention one very important thing. If your users don't have enough information to answer correctly, it's better to select don't know. In this case, it will not affect the statistics. I'm sorry, I had to have some water. That's why there was a little pause. Okay, so I like my questionnaire, so I will close the preview and go back to choose who we want to evaluate. To do this, you will need to go back to Performance Reviews, click on your review, and go to Employees tab. And here you will need to click Add Participants. You can locate an employee by name, evaluate an entire department, or select people by job title. Today I'm going to select my sales department, so I will click on Advanced Search, go to Department, select Sales Team, and click Apply. As you can see, I have 4 people in the sales department, and I'm going to click Next. Here we can choose who will perform the review. If feedback is given from all sides, that is the manager, peers, direct reports, and the employee themselves, then this method is called a 360-degree feedback. So let's toggle the switches and choose which users will evaluate. So I want to enable self-evaluation so that every user can answer questions about themselves. Then I'm going to select manager, that is going to be me, and I'm going to add peers. So peers are like colleagues. So I'm going to go to department again, click on sales team, click apply, and here I'm going to uncheck myself and click add. Now we can click next, and here you will see the lists automatically formed by the system. And if you can just look at them. If it's okay, you can click add, but also here you have an option to manually uh, check every user and if needed, add or delete participants. So I think that I added myself here and I don't want anyone to assess me today. So I'm going to delete all of the reviewers from here. Okay, so I think that now it looks good and I can click add. Once you've added everyone here, once everything is set up, you can click Start Review. So once you click Start Review, everyone you have chosen will be sent notifications and a link to the questionnaire. They will fill out the form and you can follow the progress of the survey up here on the dashboard. So you will see the review progress, that is just the percent of the fulfilled surveys, then the number of employees that have evaluated everyone they need to evaluate, and also the form completion rate, like this. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to my other account to show you the feedback and to show you the reports. And of course, in reality, you will have to wait till everyone completes the forms, and you don't have to worry. iSpring Learn will automatically notify your users that they need to complete some surveys. So they will definitely know about that, and you won't have to write them in the chat or call them, something like this. Okay, so now I will switch to my other account, and here I have an identical assessment added, so there is no difference. But now in this account, I asked my colleagues to complete the forms, and we can look at real numbers here. So let's analyze the reports together. I'm going to click here. And the first report we're going to look at is review results. Actually, there are 2 reports. One is the general reports on all the participants, and the second report is a very detailed report on every single employee, like about this employee. All right, so now let's analyze it together and see how to interpret these numbers. If you remember, in the grading scale, we had maximum of 2 points for the competency. So since we haven't selected the required skill level, the system automatically counted um, who is the best at the competency and who needs to do some more learning and studying to make sure that they are good at this competency. All right, so here I will look at Casey Forster first. And as you can see, all of these cells in her in her column are green, and she is above average, and it means that she is good and she knows her so she knows her job well. Next, let's look at Kate Nicholson. As you can see, she is good at personal traits and product knowledge, but here at client-facing skills, she needs to do some more training. And as you can see, it's this cell is colored yellow. And now we're going to look at Susan Clark, and she is an intern in this department. That's why she has everything red, and she definitely needs to do training in all terms. Okay, so that was the general report, and this is very useful to see, to very quickly see what training you need to assign to employees, or just decide who is better in the department, what grades they must get, like after the next promotion, something like this. Okay, so this was the general report, and now I'm going to um, show you how to interpret the detailed report on an employee. To do that, we will need to go to Employees tab here, and we are going to look at Kate Nicholson report today. So I'm going to click where it says View Report, and we will have her report open. So the first section in this report shows data on the employee and information on the assessment session in general, such as Kate Nicholson's department, performance review, date, and also the assessment manager. The next is the competency radar. This one shows all information from the competence summary as an interactive diagram. The colored graphs will help you compare the reviewer scores and provide an overall picture of the survey results. Here we can see that Kate is leaning toward personal traits and product knowledge. Sorry, not the product knowledge, the actually, yes. So she is like in the facing skills, and she is good at personal traits and good at product knowledge. And also, I will switch off these two because I want to compare how she evaluated herself, and how and the average score that she got. As you can see, her peers, it looks like her peers evaluated her much better than she did. It means that she probably has some hidden talents that she is not aware of. So the next step is competence summary section, which is very similar to the general result table that we looked at earlier. So here you can see that Kate thinks that she is at a medium level in all skills, but her colleagues agree that she needs to improve client-facing skills, though they think that she is very good at personal traits and very good at product knowledge. Also, you can look at these two columns. The first one shows the average score given by all reviewers, but without self-evaluation, and this one is the general average score including self-evaluation. And as you can see, they differ because how the employee evaluated themselves is very important, and it definitely affects the average score. So now let's look at the next step, and this is strength. Strength section includes the competencies that receive the highest scores from reviewers and are considered to be the employee's main strengths. So for Kate, they are stress resistance, commitment, knowledge of product functionality, ability to emphasize key information, and also empathy. The next one is areas of improvement. And this scale shows the competencies that both for the employee and reviewers identify as needing development. For Kate, they are, of course, client facing skills. We discussed that many times today, and also active listening, persuasion, and sociability. Next, we are going to look at hidden strengths. Hidden strengths shows areas where others scored the employee higher than the employee did themselves. For Kate, they have stress resistance, commitment, knowledge of product functionality, and ability to emphasize key information. Actually, if you look here, you will see that the average score for stress resistance is 2. It means that she can really work under pressure. All right, the next step is blind spots. They show where the employees scored themselves higher than other reviewers. It's more likely that the employee should focus on developing them. So Kate does not seem to have any blind spots, so we can move forward. And the last step is open-ended feedback. That is the section that shows comments given by each reviewer on open-ended questions. And here we can read what people think about Kate's areas of improvement. For example, I think this one is very important, and I think that this is her answer because here it is I think and I'm doing, and she's writing here that she needs to work on her closings more. And it definitely means that we need to assign some training to her on this one. And also, this comment is interesting. They say that Kate is very good at persuasion and closing deals, but she needs to do more conferences. Actually, I think that's why everyone thinks that she needs better client facing skills. Probably she was shy at the conference or something like this. Okay, so I think that we are done with reviewing the reports, and I hope that you've learned how to set up a 360 employee feedback and how to analyze that. When I was interpreting these reports, I covered some of the cases from my own practice, but I want to mention that I'm the team lead of the department. I'm not a member of HR team and I'm not a professional psychologist. So if you really want to make the 360 appraisal very effective, you need to work closely with your HR team to make sure that you set up right questionnaires, that you like ask good questions, and that you very attentive to what people say here. And before we finish the webinar, I want to share a couple of my recommendations. They are very important and they will definitely help you to succeed when conducting the 360 appraisal. So the first one is to set the goals together with your HR department. You need to know exactly what information you want to obtain and what decisions you want to make based on that. For example, you can increase salaries, plan learning, or for example, find the employees with the potential of becoming a head of the department. Last year, it was one of my main goals in my department. So I've set up the questionnaire about being a team lead, and I was investigating who can be a team lead in my department. And the second one is to conduct the 360 appraisal regularly. Usually it is recommended to do it every half a year. This way you will be able to track how employees are doing and obtain important information to make decisions. The first case that comes to my mind is it can help to notice in a timely manner when the employees are getting burned out. Of course, you will need to make sure that you have right questions in the questionnaire to check that. So, if you want to read more research and more rules of conducting 360 appraisal, we have an article on our website, and here you will be able to find more professional recommendations on how to do the assessment right. Nadia, can you please share the link to this article in the chat so that everyone can see it and can follow this article? Sorry, follow this link to this article.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I
Nadia.
just sent a link in the chat.
Okay, thank you so much, Nadia. So please check this link. That is a very good article that helped me a lot. So I think that at this point we can wrap up this session, and I hope this webinar was helpful. If you have any questions, please ask them in chat and I will be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Arina, for this wonderful presentation. We have a question from Christine. She's asking, I'm not seeing the performance appraisal icon at my iSpring LMS. Is this an upgrade or how to I access?
Christine, thank you so much for this question. Yes, this is an upgrade, and we will definitely have a sales manager contact you regarding this.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I see another question. Can you read it, please?
Yes, sure. David's asked, can I access it during the trial period?
Yes, you can definitely have the trial period for the 360 appraisal. Uh, we will definitely contact you too. Thank you.
Thank you to Arina. And also we have a question from MD. How long did it take to you to develop these competences?
Actually, it did take some time, and we worked a lot on these questionnaires. Of course, these are just like test questionnaires. They are mostly to show you what it looks like. But as for our department, we've created the grade system first. Then we've set up the questionnaire on hard skills based on this grade. Then we asked our HR team to help us with the soft skills questionnaire. And also, we have a psychologist in our HR team, and I even asked her to look at the results and see who of the employees are probably getting burned out or who need a promotion and something like this. Yes, so you need to work on them to get them right. So the most important thing, as I already mentioned, you need to first decide what you want to do based on this 360 appraisal. Because if you don't have any goal, then you will just get some interesting facts probably, but they will not solve your task. But if you define your goals, if you talk to your HR team, to your managers, like to your team leads, that will be very helpful.
Thank you so much for the answer. And we have two more questions to go.
Okay.
Toya is asking, should you always give employees self-assessment?
So I'm not sure if I can give you any professional recommendations on when you need to on when you need to enable or disable self-assessment, but you can switch it off. So you can add it, or you don't have to add it. So it depends on the purpose or on the questionnaire itself.
Thank you so much. And also we have a question from Ranjald. Is it possible to copy competences from one department to another?
Okay, give me just 1 second. I will quickly check it. Mhm. So you can, so to say, duplicate these competencies, but when you create competency profiles, you can use all the competencies that you added. For example, let's create a new profile and let's say it's a tech support this time. Okay, I'm going to create it, and when I click on add competencies, you will see that I again see all of these competences here. And for example, for tech support, of course, I will select everything about product knowledge, active listening, and empathy, and also stress resistance. Okay, so I'm going to add, and as you can see, I quickly formed a new profile for the new position in the company based on the competences that we added here.
Thank you so much. I hope that Ranjald we answer your question. So let's wait a couple of minutes for David says look easy. Thank you, David.
That's
uh,
good.
yeah, Let's wait a couple of minutes. If and guys, if you don't have any questions, please just send us that in the chat. So before we wrap up this session, I also want to ask you to fill out the survey after the webinar because it will help us to provide you with more relevant information. And I think that so far we don't have any question, so we can wrap up our session. And thank you, Arina, for this wonderful presentation and practice. It was very helpful to know more about competences in our company. I don't know about that. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming today and spending that valuable hour with us. And I hope you have enjoyed today's session. Bye, everyone, and happy holiday.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy that I was able to tell you about this 360-degree appraisal. It's actually a very important topic for me because we are doing the 360-degree session right now in our department, and I have over 30 over 30 surveys to fulfill. So sometime, probably on my weekend, I will do that. Okay, so thank you so much. Happy holidays. See you on the next webinars.
Th-
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.